What if I told you that 1975 had some of the most incredible songs that completely vanished from radio playlists? When you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering which bands had that one magical moment in 1975, why these songs disappeared, and whether they're actually worth listening to today. Here's the truth. 1975 was a goldmine of one-hit wonders that deserve way more recognition than they got. These aren't just forgotten tracks. They're hidden gems that defined a year when music was exploding in every direction. Today, we're diving into 10 songs that dominated the charts for a brief moment and then mysteriously faded into obscurity. 1. Silver Convention. Fly, Robin, Fly. Let's kick things off with a track that actually won a Grammy, but somehow became a footnote in music history. Silver Convention's Fly, Robin, Fly wasn't just a hit. It was a disco revolution, wrapped in the most hypnotic bass line you've ever heard. This German-American group created something that felt both futuristic and primal, with lyrics so simple they bordered on genius. The song spent 3 weeks at #1, yet ask most people today about Silver Convention, and you'll get blank stares. What made this track special wasn't just its infectious groove, it was the way it captured the exact moment when disco was morphing from underground club culture into mainstream domination. The repetitive lyrics and pulsing rhythm created a trance-like state that had people dancing in ways they'd never danced before. But as disco's popularity exploded and then crashed, Silver Convention got buried under the backlash, leaving Fly, Robin, Fly as a beautiful relic of a bygone era. 2. Morris Albert, Feelings.
Rolling down on my face, trying to...
Speaking of songs that defined their era, let's talk about Morris Albert's Feelings, a track that became so ubiquitous it practically became a parody of itself. This Brazilian singer-songwriter created what might be the most emotionally raw ballad of 1975, and for a brief moment, the entire world was singing along. The song's vulnerability was both its strength and its curse, resonating so deeply with listeners that it became impossible to escape. Albert's falsetto delivery and the song's simple yet devastating melody struck a chord during a time when the world was healing from political turmoil and social upheaval. People needed to feel something real, and Feelings delivered that emotional release in spades. But as the song became overplayed and overexposed, it transformed from a genuine expression of heartbreak into elevator music. The tragedy is that beneath all the parodies and covers lies one of the most honest love songs ever written. 3rd player, Baby Come Back. From emotional vulnerability, we shift to pure heartbreak with Player's Baby Come Back, a song that perfected the art of the desperate plea. This Los Angeles-based band created what many consider the ultimate breakup anthem, complete with soaring harmonies and a guitar solo that practically begs for reconciliation. The track captured something universal about lost love that transcended genre boundaries. What's fascinating about Player is how they managed to distill every relationship regret into 3.5 minutes of pure musical emotion. The song's success wasn't just about its catchy chorus. It was about how perfectly it articulated that moment when pride gives way to desperation. Yet despite creating one of the most recognizable songs of the decade, Player never managed to recapture that lightning in a bottle, making Baby Come Back both their crowning achievement and their musical epitaph. 4. The Diamonds, Where Did Our Love Go? Now we encounter the Diamonds, who took Motown's classic and transformed it into something entirely their own. This wasn't just a cover, it was a complete reimagining that bridged the gap between doo-wop nostalgia and contemporary pop sensibilities. Their version brought new life to Holland Dozier Holland's composition, while adding layers of harmony that the original Supremes version never explored. The genius of the Diamonds' approach was in understanding that nostalgia could be a powerful creative force when handled with respect and innovation. They didn't simply copy the Motown original, they deconstructed it and rebuilt it as something that honored the past while speaking to a new generation. This version became a hit precisely because it felt both familiar and fresh. But as musical tastes shifted toward harder rock and emerging punk attitudes, this sophisticated approach to pop music fell out of favor. 5. Ace, How Long. Transitioning into rockier territory, Ace delivered How Long.
How long has this been going on?
A song that predicted the future of rock and roll while remaining firmly planted in 1975. This British band created a track that was part confession, part accusation, with a groove that would influence everyone from Fleetwood Mac to modern indie rock bands. The song's guitar work was deceptively simple, yet incredibly effective, proving that sometimes the best hooks are the ones that sound effortless. What made Ace special was their ability to combine British rock sensibilities with American soul influences, creating something that felt both familiar and completely unique. How Long wasn't just asking a question, it was demanding an answer with the kind of musical urgency that made it impossible to ignore. The band's inability to follow up this success speaks to how difficult it is to capture that perfect storm of melody, attitude, and timing that makes a song truly memorable. 6. Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds, Fallen in Love.
I could never see what fate had planned for me.
Moving into softer rock territory, Hamilton, Joe Frank, and Reynolds crafted Fallen in Love, a song that captured the euphoria and terror of new romance with stunning precision. This trio understood that love songs work best when they acknowledge both the joy and vulnerability that come with opening your heart to another person. Their harmonies were flawless, but it was the emotional honesty that made the song special. The beauty of Fallen in Love lies in its ability to make the universal feel personal. Everyone who heard this song could recall their own moments of romantic uncertainty. Those early days when love feels both like the most natural thing in the world and the most terrifying leap of faith. But as the music industry moved toward more aggressive sounds and cynical attitudes, this kind of earnest romanticism began to feel outdated, leaving the song as a beautiful time capsule of more innocent times. 7. Looking Glass, Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
There's a girl in this harbor town, and she works.
Perhaps no song on this list tells a better story than Looking Glass's Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, a maritime tale that reads like a short story set to one of the most memorable melodies ever written. This New Jersey band created something that was part sea shanty, part pop confection, with lyrics that painted vivid pictures of small-town life and unrequited love. The song's narrative structure was unusual for its time, proving that pop music could tell complex stories without sacrificing catchiness. Looking Glass managed to create a world within their song, complete with characters you cared about in a setting you could visualize. Brandy became more than just a name in a song. She became a symbol of everyone who's ever loved someone whose heart belonged elsewhere. The song's success demonstrated that audiences were hungry for substance alongside their hooks. But as the industry became more focused on image and production, this kind of storytelling craftsmanship became increasingly rare. 8. Orleans, Dance With Me.
See, the music is just starting, night is coming.
Speaking of storytelling, Orleans brought a different kind of narrative to the airwaves with Dance With Me, a song that transformed a simple invitation into something approaching magic. This upstate New York band understood that the best dance songs aren't just about rhythm, they're about connection, about those moments when music becomes a bridge between two people. Their approach was gentle yet insistent, creating space for romance to flourish. Orleans crafted something that felt both timeless and completely of its moment, with production that allowed every instrument to breathe while maintaining an irresistible groove. Dance With Me worked because it understood that dancing is really just another form of conversation, and the song provided the perfect soundtrack for that dialogue. As disco became more aggressive and rock became more bombastic, this kind of subtle sophistication got lost in the noise. 9. Tavares, It Only Takes a Minute. From gentle romance, we shift to pure R&B fire with Tavares and It Only Takes a Minute, a song that proved love at first sight could be both instant and eternal. These five brothers from Massachusetts brought a level of vocal gymnastics to pop music that was both impressive and deeply felt. Their harmonies weren't just technically perfect, they were emotionally devastating, turning a simple concept into a masterclass in vocal arrangement. Tavares understood that the best love songs work on multiple levels simultaneously. They need to make you move while making you feel, and It Only Takes a Minute accomplished both with room to spare. The song's urgency wasn't just musical, it was emotional, capturing that breathless moment when you realize your life is about to change forever. But as R&B evolved toward more mechanical disco production, this kind of organic soul expression became harder to find on the charts. 10. America, Sister Golden Hair.
And I got myself undressed. I ain't ready.
We close our journey with America's Sister Golden Hair, a song that perfectly captured the laid-back California sound while dealing with surprisingly complex emotional territory. This folk rock duo created something that sounded effortless, but dealt with the kind of relationship ambivalence that would become increasingly relevant as social norms continued to shift. Their harmonies were pristine, but it was the emotional honesty that made the song endure. America managed to create a sound that was both immediate and eternal, with production that felt natural and unforced. Sister Golden Hair worked because it acknowledged that love isn't always simple or straightforward. Sometimes you can care deeply about someone while knowing they're not right for you. This kind of emotional sophistication would become more common in later decades, but in 1975, it felt revolutionary. These 10 songs represent more than just forgotten hits. They're snapshots of a year when music was fearlessly experimental and emotionally honest. Each track succeeded because it captured something true about the human experience. Whether that was love, loss, hope, or heartbreak, the fact that they've been forgotten doesn't diminish their power. It just means we need to work harder to keep great music alive. If this journey through 1975's hidden gems has sparked your curiosity, don't let it end here. These songs are waiting for you on streaming platforms, ready to soundtrack your own memories. Like this video if you discovered something new, subscribe for more deep dives into music history's forgotten corners, and most importantly, share these songs with someone who needs to hear them. Music this good deserves to live forever, but it can only survive if we keep passing it along. What are you waiting for? Start listening.